Good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news. We're broadcasting live and then we're available on demand. And we're available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple Television, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Monday, July 17th, 2023. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. And this evening we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a non-profit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians, and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
Well, let's begin by welcoming anchor FayWhat. She is a radio and television personality and is the anchor of the FayWhat Show, the first LGBTQ plus morning program, Mondays at 9 a.m. and then on demand on all streaming and social media platforms. She's also a hostess and MC for many South Florida events. Welcome, Faye.
Hello, boys. I'm so happy to be with you all here this Monday afternoon. And let's begin with the gay agenda. One magical drive featuring the Little Mermen, July 28th. We all know that Wilton Drive is one magical place. The Wilton Manors Business Association and Flockfest present a free concert featuring everything Disney with New York City's top Disney rock band, the Little Mermen. So break out your Mickey ears and join the crowd for drinks, food trucks, and more as Northeast 7th Avenue between Wilton Drive and 23rd Street is turned into a Disney wonderland. The event is July 28th and starts at 7 p.m. The event is free, but you can RSVP at thelittlemermen.com or at flockfest.org.
I'm there.
Let's welcome anchor Peter Bisuito, an internationally known comedian, writer, producer, director, and actor. Peter has just revealed his new film, I Remember. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you so much. In the gay agenda, I Remember, movie screening this July 20th at the FayWhat Theater. The premiere screening of my newest movie, I Remember, is scheduled for July 20th. The movie is produced by Cal Gajraj. Robert Kutras and my character play an important role in this short film. The premiere is at the FayWhat Cinema at 7 p.m. I Remember is a short film and a psychological drama about a man afflicted with repressed memory loss and set on a journey to find his missing husband, even when he can't remember. The movie is a must-watch for fans engaging hardcore psychological content. Be there and support me. Tickets are available at mybigfunnypeter.com.
Say, everybody, you're not my type.
What is your type?
Certainly not this.
Hey, come on, don't let that guy get you down. Just remember the old saying, beauty fades, dumb is forever. Judge Judy, I love her. Me too.
I'm Derek.
Hey, Derek. I'm Dom.
You are not only my soulmate, but you're my savior. You literally saved my life. know where Dom is? He's missing.
It's over!
No, it's not over. Dom, don't go. No! Do you know where he is? I don't know where he is! He's missing!
Remember.
What if I can't?
Please welcome Orlando Gonzales. He is the executive director for SAVE, South Florida's longest-serving LGBTQ+ organization, and he was also on the board of trustees of the Point Foundation.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Next, the gay agenda, Wilton Manors Business Association's The Big Gay Picnic, September 4th. The Wilton Manors Business Association and Flockfest join forces for the biggest, gayest picnic you've ever seen. The event is Labor Day, September 4th from 2 to 7 p.m. at Richardson Park in Wilton Manors. There will be food, drinks, games, and more. Tickets are available online at flockfestevents.org, and more information about the event will be revealed very soon.
Let's welcome Dale Stine, a celebrated photographer the community is very proud of. He is a director of music ministry at the famous Unity on the Bay and a moderator of Miami Gay List on Facebook, which can also be found on IG as @QueerListOfficial.
Thank you very much. In the gay agenda, the Cookout pool party for the girls, gays, and theys, August 6th. Marley Entertainment and Let's Get Lucky present the Cookout pool party at the Eastern Rooftop Pool and Lounge over the courtyard by Marriott downtown Fort Lauderdale. The event is on Sunday, August 6th from noon to 6 p.m. and will be celebrating Jamaican Independence Day. Enjoy swimming, drinks, delicious food, music, vendors, and more. LGBTQ+ people, friends, and allies are welcome. Come celebrate love and diversity. Find out more and get tickets at marleyentertainment.com.
Well, we are the reporters for Queer News tonight, and this evening we bring you and begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ+ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the Queer News for today, Monday, July 17. We begin by queering up South Florida and Florida. The Cannonball Bash returns in October, featuring hundreds of bears and Tammie Brown. Cannonball 2023 is officially returning for its fourth annual event from October 26th through November 1st. Cannonball 2023 is a unique event that promotes positive body image for the bear, chub, and daddy members of the LGBTQ+ community and the men who admire them. Held at the end of October at the Westin Fort Lauderdale Hotel in partnership with Visit Lauderdale. The event is expected to witness a turnout of over 1,800 plus event goers. The event features day and night themed pool parties with top DJs such as DJ Ed Talks, Hunter's House DJ, by the way, and DJ AJ Reddy. The theme of the event this year celebrates the legend of Aladdin,
The Big Peach.
right, with a whole new world. Attendees can also enjoy a Mediterranean banquet and show featuring Tammie Brown from RuPaul's Drag Race, a costume concert, a jam featuring Z Machine and Nakia, barbecue mez bingo, and brunching with the queens. Various excursions are also including Jungle Queen Riverboat Cruise and the Sawgrass Airboat rides are all part of this event. Attendees will have free shuttles to Wilton Manors, local bars and activities, including Wicked Manor on Halloween, vendor market bazaar, and much more. You can find out all about this event at cannonballbash.com. And be sure and stay tuned for a special upcoming interview with Tammie Brown on Unapologetically Queer with Al Ferguson. Well, an exciting event. One of the reasons that I think this is really cool is it's a complete hotel buyout. So Hotspots and Happening Out are involved in helping sponsor many events like this, Gay Days, OMW, Girls in Wonderland being the most famous. But this being here in South Florida makes it special. The Westin, Cypress Creek, big hotel as a complete buyout. But the thing I like the most, two big things. First, it promotes body positivity. And it's an LGBT event that says, you know, you don't have to be 162 pounds and have a great time at this event. If you are, come, you'll still have a great time. But it promotes the body types of everyone in our community. And the second thing that I think is really cool about this event is it shares in the entire community. It's a partnership with Visit Lauderdale. It provides shuttles to the Wilton Drive, so all of the businesses in our principal LGBT Main Street get to participate in the event. The guests get to participate in Wilton Drive in a safe fashion with shuttles where they don't have to Uber or drive. And they take you in the weekend to all kinds of other fun events like going airboat riding or the Jungle Queen or all kinds of different things. And then even if you don't want to move, you can stay in the hotel and there's all kinds of parties. This is just like win for everyone in our community. I think it's great.
Well, everybody knows that I'm a chub chaser. I love bears. I love chubs. I love all about it. They know how to party. I love it. It's just like, it's just a place to be. You know, Al, that for one magical weekend, what hotel was I at?
You were at the Disney Bears Jamboree Hotel.
Okay, thank you, because I know where the party's at, all right?
And they yelled, "There's Faye!" from the balcony.
It was so funny. But I mean, you know, everything that Visit Lauderdale is a part of is always an incredible, incredible event. We know that. We love them for that. And this is no different. I haven't been to Cannonball, but I have heard of the stories that happen at Cannonball. And then, you know, I think they always welcome about like 2,000 individuals to this, and it's like more than half sold out already.
Yeah.
So you know this is going to sell out, you know? So I love it. And Tammie Brown, come on, what a great addition, right? A couple thousand bears, some other LGBTQ plus people, and freaking Tammie Brown. It gets no better than that.
I think it's great because, especially in this day and age with body image is so skewed because of Instagram and the filters and the photoshopping and the lighting
and now artificial intelligence.
And now artificial intelligence. It's like, you know, you have to start to expose what the human body really looks like.
Right?
You know?
I think it's great also that there are so many different organizations and companies involved in this, because especially in this moment in Florida when we are under such attack, there's power in numbers and corporations and people. So it's really great.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
All right, next, let's queer up politics. House GOP attempts to attach anti-LGBTQ plus amendments to annual national defense bill. Republicans in Congress have adopted a series of amendments targeting access to abortion and gender-affirming care that could threaten to derail efforts to pass the annual National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. On Friday, July 14th, the U.S. House of Representatives passed its version of the defense funding bill with several conservative amendments, including 5 taking aim at restricting access to abortion-related reproductive services or gender-affirming care. In response to pressure from social conservatives within the Republican House caucus, Speaker Kevin McCarthy brought forth a series of controversial conservative amendments which were tacked onto the defense bill on a largely party-line vote. Republicans also approved 2 transgender-related amendments. One would prohibit the health insurance program for active duty service members from converting the cost of gender confirmation surgery and hormone treatments for transgender individuals. Another amendment from the U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert, sorry, I just can't stop laughing when I say her name, would block military schools from purchasing or having pornographic and radical gender ideology books in their libraries. Democrats have criticized the amendments as a poison pill and threatened to withhold their support if the amendments remain intact. The Human Rights Campaign, HRC, has also called upon members of the House of Representatives to reject extremist attempts to attack to attach anti-LGBTQ plus amendments to the NDAA.
Boy, this is one of those things that I really hate about lawmaking, right? This is a defense bill, and then they're adding all sorts of other stuff to it. That's one part of this, right? But the other part is I am very grateful and thankful that this will not get anywhere with the Senate, right? And so they need both houses to be able to move this forward. And so the funny-duddy house that we have today is doing what it's doing, but thankfully the Senate will block this, and so will the president.
Thank you for clearing that up, Orlando, because that was like kind of confusing to me. You know, I don't know anything about nothing, right? And so then when I'm like, the defense, what the hell does that have to do with that?
Can you write that down on a
You know, and it's like, okay, what do they consider pornographic? I mean, there's sex in the Bible if you really think about it. You know what I mean? Why don't you take out that damn book that's been redone a million times?
It's important for us to remember that the House has an 8-seat majority. That's all they have.
That's it. Very
8
minimal.
seats.
He needs every single vote.
They have to find compromise or Congress doesn't work. And currently, because of the radical nature, the reason why the Speaker brings it up is because one of the Republican seats can challenge his seat. That's how he became Speaker of the House. That's the first note. It's so close, you must find common ground. This is not common ground. Here's the proof of that. If you took the exact moment that we're in right now and moved it back to Donald Trump being president with the tiny majority that the Democrats had, and they did the same thing, the Republicans would be screaming bloody murder over it. And it's an example where at some point, a reasonable number of people will have to come to the same conclusion that they did on the debt ceiling. It's in our best interest to compromise lest we have destruction of the government going on. And that's what's happening here. They're holding the military hostage for these very radical positions that they want, and not even the majority of radical in the Congress. It's a strong vocal minority that are doing it. And if that would have happened with the Democrats while Trump was president, it wouldn't have happened either. And I agree with Orlando. It's not going to happen this time either.
Next, let's queer up business. Maybelline faces backlash for partnership with bearded makeup artist Ryan Vita. Maybelline has recently been on the receiving of a major internet backlash after it faced an unprecedented amount of opposition from conservative citizens for its portrayal of an LGBTQ plus influencer in a makeup ad. This is not the first time that the brand has shown a male LGBTQ plus member in the forefront. In 2017, Manny Gutierrez was revealed as the brand's first ever male ambassador. Manny Gutierrez, popularly known as Manny MUA, is a gay online influencer and viral YouTuber who's famous for his makeup tip videos. He's a former pre-med student who left medical school to pursue his passion for makeup and beauty. In the recent ad, Ryan Vita promotes Maybelline New York Superstay Vinyl Ink Lip Gloss. The influencer applies the product on his lips while praising its shine and comfort, further stating that it does not bulge or smudge for up to 16 hours. He ends the video by blowing a flying kiss to the audience. The ad, which was posted on Maybelline's New York's official Instagram handle, has amassed over 1.8 million views at the time of this writing. The Maybelline backlash followed a similar pattern to that of the recent uprising against Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney earlier this year.
Prime Day on Amazon, so why not see if Maybelline has any deals going on? And look at that! Superstay Vinyl Ink is 30% off, and my favorite colors are in stock and ready to ship. My Amazon order arrived the next day, and here I am, filming a makeup review. And baby, check out this color and shine. It's so comfortable, and it will not budge or smudge for up to 16 hours. Let me know what you think, and shop Maybelline Prime deals for 30% off right now.
I love Ryan Vita, and if you're not following him on Instagram, follow him, okay? He uses she, her, they, them pronouns, whatever you want to use for him, he will gladly say yes. He's got a ton of followers, which is why Maybelline did the right thing by using him and his brand to, to tote this incredible new lipstick, People are just finding any kind of organization to come after. If they even say we're pro or we're good with LGBTQ, of course they want to go after him, It's just ridiculous. And some of the horrible memes that people are putting out also, it's like Maybelline and all these like ridiculous things. Bearded queens are super popular. Everybody at this table can attest to that. They're winning pageants. They're coming across as influencers just like the other queens are now these days. So I get Maybelline doing this. Screw you haters. And, I love you even more, Ryan, excuse me. Follow Ryan. He's amazing.
Well, and good for Maybelline. I mean, Maybelline saw what happened with Bud Light. They saw what happened with Disney. They had an opportunity to scrap this entire idea. And they said, no, we believe in the community. We believe in the values that we have. We believe actually in a world filled with equality and equity. And so they push forward. And this is really great. I mean, we've seen people make attempts at trying to be supportive of the community, then they get backlash, and then they pull back.
Yeah.
But if they keep pushing forward, that's resilience. And
Well, Target should follow suit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see all this wonderful free expression of gender, and just
fluidity,
just screwing with it. It's like you can do what you want to be and be what you want to be and look how you want to be.
Absolutely.
I don't understand because these guys that just was so much fun to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't really wear makeup myself, but it's just as watching that video.
Peter.
I should start. I do.
I can help
I
you.
need to get some
Fire engine
dark
here.
circles under my eyes.
There's a reason why Big Muscle Bear is not intimidated by the guy that's going to put on some makeup.
But he's just having fun. That's what I don't understand. Why can't people?
But that's what they're afraid of, what Al is saying right now. They're afraid of that, and you're not.
They're
It's like
afraid
whatever.
of being fun.
It's the lack of your fear, which is exactly what they
There's
represent.
no threat to your masculinity.
Exactly right. It's no threat to your masculinity. And because of that, I just want to launch into calling the spade a spade. In this story associated with Maybelline, this is massive homophobia. That is all this is. This is homophobia. This is not protecting children. This is not protecting against the evil drag queens of the world of Governor DeSantis's point of view. This is radical conservatives that are homophobic, and they disguise their homophobia in all kinds of other parental rights and protection of children, etc., and so on. It's a lie. They are homophobic. He is not a drag queen. He is not representing that you should like this Maybelline product because you're a drag queen performing at RuPaul's Drag Race. He's not doing that. He's saying, I love this makeup. And as a male, I like this makeup. And when you go in with the kind of memes that you're talking about, I'm glad we're not showing them, by the way. When you go in with those kind of memes, you're only showing your homophobia of a male using makeup. What's the big deal? Which is my point. The second thing that I think is really, really important is this is a representation of Glamorous by Marilyn. Congratulations, Maybelline by Marilyn, because this is the storyline of Glamorous. And if you haven't watched that show, you should. You were the first person that said, watch Glamorous. I have power watched over the last 5 days every episode of Glamorous. And it is amazing because this is the story. The story is if the young man wants to feel confident by putting on makeup and not be who he is as the male persona, but he feels good still being the male persona with lip gloss and eyeshadow, who is it in our right to say no? Only the people that are homophobic.
I would rather him put on makeup than a gun holster.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe he's born with it.
We love you, Maybelline by Marilyn. It's very glamorous.
I love it. Next, let's queer up trans rights. Russian anti-trans lobbying compared to GOP efforts. Russia's newly proposed anti-transgender legislation is drawing comparisons to the Republican efforts to restrict LGBT rights in the United States. On Thursday, the Russian State Duma passed a bill that would ban gender-affirming healthcare regardless of age, ban transgender people from becoming foster or adoptive parents, and annul marriages involving transgender people. The bill, widely expected to be approved by the Federation Council and Russian President Vladimir Putin, comes as LGBTQ advocates warn of a new global attacks on rights for the community, specifically those who are transgender. Lawmakers in Russia, the government of which has long been viewed as hostile towards the LGBTQ plus rights, tout the legislation as protection from the Western anti-family ideology. However, critics say the bill will cause undue harm to Russia's transgender community. Maria Slodin, the executive director of the international LGBTQ+ advocacy organization, Outright International, told Newsweek on Saturday afternoon that Russia's new law takes matters even further for a community already under enormous pressure by existing anti-gay and anti-transgender laws. Russia is viewed as having among the world's most restrictive laws regarding LGBT+ rights. Equal Index, LGBT Rights Index, places Russia as the 23rd worst country to live in for the LGBTQ community. There have been reports for years that authorities in Russia's Chechnya region have violently persecuted LGBT people. Well, oftentimes, we say that what's happening in the US is the Russian playbook. It's also Trump's playbook. It's also DeSantis's playbook. And it's sad that, in fact, that some of that has been exported here. And so what's happening there is happening here. We have a lot to really protect ourselves in terms of thinking about what's happening in the community.
That's scary.
It's interesting that they refer to Western anti-family ideology, meaning they are viewing the U.S. as pro-LGBTQ+, even though we're undergoing what we're undergoing. Yeah. It's a very interesting tactic. I just think
I didn't know there were gays in Russia. Isn't that what they're constantly saying? Oh my God. And I love how they say, oh, well, they're a little hostile towards LGBT.
Right.
I think we should find another word to describe that because it's very beyond, I mean, and then again, what Orlando says, it's like chills. It brings chills up and down my spine because it's true. It is the rule book that we're really playing out of. So if anybody is in fear, you should be, because these things could be acted out right here in your backyard as well next. And that's their plan.
It is.
One thought is for Russia, you make the same joke. It's interesting that for a country that doesn't have any LGBT people, they're passing these laws saying, oh, wait, we're retrenching rights back, but nobody exists to take advantage of these rights. By the way, just as an FYI, there's an estimate of the United Nations estimate between 15 and 18 million LGBT in Russia. That's how many LGBT there are in Russia.
And if that's what they think, then let's double it, right? Yes. Or let's put more of that.
Right. There's a lot more than that.
The one thing that I think is really incredible is the leader here that we mentioned as Putin. Simultaneously, this is the guy that takes his shirt off and rides a horse bareback. Now, that is the queerest thing that I had ever seen up to that point in Russia.
Before Ron DeSantis ad.
Right. Before Ron DeSantis came along.
With that ad?
Exactly, with that ad.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is really interesting about this story that was shocking to me, as Orlando does this story, is Russia is only the 23rd worst country in the world.
What?
That is breathtaking.
Are you kidding me?
That the country that has no gay people is the 23rd worst country in the world. Let me put that in perspective. With approximately 200 countries in the world, that means 10% of the nations on Earth are worse for LGBT than Russia.
Wow.
That is a dead stop moment of what is really going on in place. We know what's happening in Russia, but what's worse, we're not categorizing what's really happening in Uganda and Ghana and now Kenya and 20 other countries in the world that are even more dangerous and more oppressive than Russia. We have a lot of work to do in the world for LGBT rights.
Well, next, let's clear up courts. Federal judge reinstates Kentucky's gender-affirming care ban. Kentucky's ban on gender-affirming care for young transgender people was restored Friday when a federal judge lifted an injunction he issued last month that had temporarily blocked the restrictions. The latest ruling by U.S. District Judge David Hale means the Kentucky prohibition goes into effect, preventing transgender minors from accessing puberty blockers and hormone therapy. Kentucky Republican Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who had asked that the injunction be lifted, applauded the ruling, while transgender rights advocates denounced it. Chris Hartman, executive director of the Fairness Campaign, warned that the statewide ban would immediately harm young transgender people and their families in Kentucky. Hale's reversal of his own order came nearly a week after the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, say that 4 times, overturned a similar temporary injunction halting the enforcement of a similar law in Tennessee. Corey Shapiro, legal director for the American Civil Liberties Union of Kentucky, said that the latest ruling is not the final word on the matter. The group called it a temporary setback and expressed confidence in achieving a positive result before another federal court. What's really alarming to me is that these laws and such are going into effect, these bans and such, because as everyone that takes place, the people who are enacting them feel more empowered to do more. That's what I find alarming and upsetting and terrifying.
Orlando, I want to call your expertise into play here. I know you've played quarterback for a long, long time over issues like this. Watch court moves, political moves in state and county legislature, city commissions, etc. When you see an injunction go into place and then another court reverse the injunction and the continued process, is that alarming to you, or how should we view it in terms of how the process through the courts work?
Right. So the comment from the attorney over at the ACLU, Shapiro, said that this is not the end, right? So that is in Tennessee. If we look at what's happening in Florida, there's an injunction actually in the law here in Florida as well. So there's been an injunction that's been placed on the law that was passed here. And so we're also sort of at this place where we're still litigating what's happening. And so there's a lot to see in terms of some of these injunctions that are taking place that are temporary and then being reversed, and then others that are coming into play. So all the states are doing a patchwork of litigating all of this. What's going to happen is that this is going to continue to go up the courts, and we're going to see it possibly up in the Supreme Court. It's going to continue to go up to
Is this a
level
normal process for average viewer listening to what's going on? Is this the way it works, or is this unusual from your seat?
I think that what's unusual is the patchwork. Right? I think that oftentimes we see sort of a lot of unanimity in terms of decisions that are being made, but I think that we're living in a moment in which we are not speaking as one American voice anymore, right? We're having a lot of differences taking place, a lot of contention taking place, a lot of very geographically specific voices coming up, and eventually it's going to come up to the highest court.
And does that mean conservative judges, more progressive judges? They're coming in different ways, and that's the patchwork you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the states.
And the states.
The states' laws.
Of course.
Right.
That's right. California, very different than Kentucky in this instance. What's your expectation? I know it's asking you to have a crystal ball, but watching this patchwork, like in this issue of trans, the drag bans, perhaps don't say gay, those 3 big areas, what do you project is going to happen in terms of how courts are going to continue to move and to other federal courts, like what the ACLU was talking about?
I'll go on my soapbox, right, which is what I say all the time, and that is that elections matter, and the long shadow that Donald Trump has cast, mostly, not in just our culture wars, but in the courts, is real. And many of these judges are in their positions for their whole entire lifetime, right? And so the impact that has on our system, on our entire system of lawmaking, on our entire system of fairness for people, this is where the longest shadow is being cast. And so it's going to take a while, I think, before we undo a lot of the harm.
I'm sorry.
So, and then, which to the point that Biden has appointed more judges than any president to date, thankfully.
Right.
So don't you think we might see some shift? But it's going to be a while, like you say, it's a long term.
Yeah. We're having to live out the life terms of many of these judges.
And some, they're very young.
Before we move on, one last thing I want to take the opportunity of your expertise, of your eye on. So while this was happening, we hear you loud and clear, voting matters and the results of Donald Trump being president. Do you think we were as aware while Trump was president for those 4 years of what was really going to dramatically affect us? Were we as aware that the court appointment of the judge appointment process was so critically important that we would see this years after Donald Trump being out of office?
I think we weren't aware. I think that people have been ringing the alarm bells and many people weren't paying attention. Yeah. Right? I always sort of say this thing, which is that during the Obama years, it's like we were high on the romance, right? Like we really took our foot off the pedal, we took our hands off the wheel, but we lived in really great times during that 8-year period. And so as a result, I think that while there were still warnings being said, we have to continue to be vigilant, apply pressure, and think about future elections, it's because of the judgeships. And that's where the big prize is being held. And in the meantime, while we were happy, right, and celebrating, the conservatives were creating a plan for the judicial
and Supreme Court too, specifically. That's been their goal for many decades.
That's an interesting metaphor that I'm going to remember. We were high through the Obama years, and now we need to get high to get through the Trump years. I hear you.
It's funny because I actually was high during the Obama years and then got sober for Trump. So,
we hear our activists at the table say elections matter. We hear it in another and many different ways. All right, let's move on. Greater Fort Lauderdale features plenty of ways to play on and off the beach with cultural attractions, luxurious spas, sightseeing, and more. We are thrilled to partner in the promotion of our beautiful community here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. There's also shopping here in everything from boutiques to department stores, a thriving restaurant scene. Visit Lauderdale. It's everything under the sun.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church right here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. Well, we finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
Well, LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up the world view. Israel refuses to join the U.S. in condemning Hungary's anti-LGBTQ plus policies. Senior foreign ministry officials have confirmed that Israel refused to join the United States and 37 other Western countries in criticizing the legislative moves promoted by Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban against the LGBTQ plus community. In recent months, the Hungarian government has promoted legislation against the LGBTQ plus community, such as a ban on the adoption of children by same-sex couples, the imposition of restrictions on the sale or supply of educational materials and literature on the subject of the LGBTQ plus community to minors, and a ban on sex education classes in private schools. Last week, the Hungarian government fined a bookstore owner $36,000 for displaying a comic book in his store that included a same-sex love story. Boo.
In LGBTQ plus 1 minute news, let's queer up religion. Rabidly anti-LGBTQ plus church moves to new location in Dallas. A Texas-based Baptist church that denies the Holocaust happened and advocates for the execution of LGBTQ plus people just moved into a newly leased location in the Dallas area amid protests. Pastor Jonathan Shelley, who founded the Steadfast Baptist Church in Fort Worth in 2014, has built a congregation around open hatred of Jewish and queer people. Steadfast pastors also openly promote the extermination of all LGBTQ plus people. The church's unabashed hatred has made it hard for the congregation to maintain a long-term brick-and-mortar home. In February 2022, Steadfast was evicted from its location in Hurst, Texas, for violating lease terms. It was evicted again from its new location in Watauga in September 2022.
In LGBTQ plus 1 minute news, let's queer up business. As LGBTQ plus and others flee Twitter, Musk claims the platform has lost 50% of its revenue. The financial woes for Twitter appear to be continuing as owner Elon Musk announced the platform is experiencing a nearly 50% decline in advertising revenue as it struggles with heavy debt load, mostly from himself. The news comes days after Matthew Price, CEO of Cloudflare, a web security firm, announced Twitter's traffic has plunged since Musk purchased the social media platform. Earlier this month, Meta launched a new text-based platform called Threads that directly rivals Twitter. The new Meta platform reached 100 million downloads within the first week of its release, and LGBTQ plus internet users have flocked to it, in part due to Musk's anti-trans policies on Twitter. There was discussion of a cage match between Meta's Zuckerberg and Twitter's Musk. The Twitter owner instead suggested a dick measuring contest between the two of them in a tweet.
Okay. LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Imagine Dragons continues to show LGBTQ plus support in new Hulu documentary. Last September, during a sold-out show at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Imagine Dragons was in the middle of playing It's Time, one of the band's many instantly recognizable hits, when Dan Reynolds spotted a fan in the crowd with the Progress Pride flag. Without hesitation, Reynolds hoisted the flag into the air as he walked down the runway. It's a standout moment in the band's new Hulu documentary, Imagine Dragon Live in Las Vegas, out Friday. It wasn't the first time Reynolds showed support for the LGBTQ plus community on stage, and it wouldn't be the last. While talking to Insider, Reynolds said, "We care deeply about human rights, basic human rights, about the ability to love who you want."
In LGBTQ plus 1 minute news, let's queer up gay culture. Former NBA superstar Charles Barkley blasts anti-LGBTQ plus bigots. The NBA legend and longtime supporter of LGBTQ plus rights, Charles Barkley, delivered a passionate speech at a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, the same venue where he shared a similar message in solidarity with the community only a year previously. Barkley took the opportunity to weigh in on the controversy surrounding Bud Light after the beer brand sent a personalized can to trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney in April to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of her Days of Girlhood TikTok series. The 60-year-old former NBA star made it clear that he has no time for bigots who avoid Bud Light because of the Mulvaney collaboration.
I want y'all to drink this fucking beer. I want y'all to drink this fucking beer. I got 3 cases of Bud Light. Hey, and I want to say this. If you're gay, bless you. If you're transgender, bless you. And if you have a problem with that, fuck you.
Well, that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of a very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That's the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Now Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, Peter Bisuito, Orlando Gonzales, and Dale Stine, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And don't forget to stay tuned tomorrow for a very special edition of Unapologetically Queer with Al Ferguson, featuring an interview with the iconic star of stage and film, Idina Menzel. And to our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you good night.
Good night.
Buenas noches.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.